Hey guys, welcome back. Episode 2. We're in Taipei, Taiwan. I want to talk to you guys about why my father had to pass away for me to succeed. Why my father had to die for myself. It's a very selfish thing, it kind of sounds like. The optic might sound like. But in reality, guys, I have to have some control over why things happen in my life. In 2017, on Friday night, my father came into my room and called me a failure. It said that I caused problems with the family. And because I thought that my brother was a favorite in the family, he said this is the reason why is because I just caused problems. And I can just never do a lot more stuff. And then he was sick when he said that, and he went on to Saturday and he laid in bed. And on Sunday morning, he went to the hospital and went into a coma. I went to the hospital on Wednesday and I cried next to his bed and I said, "Dad, I'm so sorry for being such a bad son." And I apologized. And I couldn't see him do anything because he's in a coma. He was my best friend. Someone I looked up to, someone I thought that was incredibly strong. And I saw 100 tubes in his face, in his body. He was a man I used to go to Costco with and eat the giant hot dogs and pizzas with and drink the berry smoothies. He was my best friend, man. I didn't have any friends. The friends that I did have, quote unquote, abandoned me. A lot of them stopped talking to me, and I was mostly friends with girls, and they literally all stopped talking to me because they said they need time for me to heal. I stopped having friends, even if they were only acquaintances. I remember these times in my life, seeing all people abandon me, and I realized how selfish people were. Now, here's the positives of what I just said. I realize that people are delusional. The world is not a kind place. The world can take and give. But I also realized the beauty in this tragedy. The beauty was that when my dad passed away, even though he had physically and mentally abused me, but I still cried. But I still felt horrible because that's a human being, and as well as that he wasn't all evil. Notice how I just said all these evil things, but there's context to why my dad was like this. My dad was ferociously abused by his own mom. His own family were terrible people, filled with cheaters, abusers, and adulterers. The scum of the earth, really. Not a family at all to me. A lot of them are into very nefarious forms, a way to make money, scams and pyramid schemes. Even to this day, my dad's side of the family are just pieces of work, most of them. Some of them even very racist as well. And sadly, that's when my dad was around. My dad was not a racist person, by the way. Grew up to be a very decent man. Now, did he treat me that way? No. And the reason why I think he treated me this way, he put his hands on me a lot, sometimes he didn't, is because he saw himself in me. I laugh, man, and I hear my father's voice sometimes. And it's scary because I listen to recordings of my friends that take videos of me and I hear my dad and I'm spooked. I dream of my dad all the time, and I honestly would do anything to see my dad again. I think he was supposed to pass away so I could succeed in life. As messed up as that sounds, I don't know what else to say. I have huge dreams. Dreams that cannot be contained, dreams that cannot, I won't say on camera here, but I have huge dreams for my life. And I've been through a lot of tragedies. There was only 2 people in my own life that I felt really understood on a fundamental level, like they knew who I was. And my father was one of them. And even though those were his last words, I still love my dad. And I think that if my dad had another way and other things to say, he wouldn't say those things, right? He wouldn't have the last words be that, but it was. There's a lesson in this. When you say goodbye to your family, you may never see them again. Say, "I love you." Say, "I appreciate you." Text them this. Even if it's in the middle of the night, even if it wakes them up, man, you never know when you'll speak to someone last. There's also a fault I did. When I was a kid, I was bad. When I was in school, I was terrible. And how I treated my family sometimes was awful. Now, was this a learned behavior? Was this a behavior that happened because of the way I was treated? Absolutely. I'm a product of my environment, nonetheless. We all are. But I'm an adult. I cannot use that excuse. When I was 21 years old, I was the worst version of myself. When I was 22, I was a slightly better version of the worst form of myself. And when I became 23, I decided that I'm going to try to improve. And now I'm 24, and I'm looking back and almost half done with my 20s, and I can say I've made a lot of progress, man. And this is a lot of progress I had made because when I see my dad again, I confidently want to say that I did better than you. And that sounds like a competition, and at the heart of being a man, it is about competition. I want to have a massive impact, and one day I will be a grandpa. One day I will be a grandpa to someone. One day I will be a father. And I want to be a good man, and I don't want to do the mistakes my father did. At the end of the day, the fact that my father was abused means that he abused me, but it was never as bad as what he had to deal with. Not even close, by the way. I miss my dad. I miss having a best friend, and I miss having someone that understood me. And I do feel lonely, and I do feel empty, and I do feel like I'll never, ever have the feeling of a father again. And I won't. And I won't, man. It's been very difficult. But there's a tragedy in this. The tragedy that I'll never see it again, meaning it also meant something. The fact that I'll never experience those things with my dad again. There's something beautiful about that, man. And that goes into friendships and relationships and family events. Like, guys, just appreciate it before it goes. When you travel, appreciate it before the vacation, the traveling is done. Time never stops. It eats up everything. Before we know it, we are old. And I know everyone can say that over and over again, and we don't understand, but guys, I had to watch my father pass away in front of my eyes. Slowly. For a week. That actually happened. Part of me says that Vox, that just never happened, but it actually did. It actually did, man. I want you guys to go speak to your mom and dad tonight, and I want you to say I love you to them. Really say that. In the morning, they could be going to the hospital. If you argue with your parents a lot, and you don't, man. Or at least if you do, just end it with love. This world is filled with tragedy, man. My life had a lot of bad points, a lot of bad crushing defeats. More defeats than victories, but seriously, man. It's how you take the defeats in life matters. How fast you can get past pain or use it matters. There's a couple of things I could have done after many bad events in my life, and some things I handled very poorly. But one of the things I'm confidently that I've never done was turn to narcotics. Narcotics are the scum of the earth. There's nothing that really adds to your life. It only takes away. People that find it fun, you can find it fun for a while, but ultimately it's not going to add anything to your life. And when it comes to partying, is the same thing. Partying, all these, they're all kind of vices, really. And so what I've realized is that you have to go spiritually into yourself and talk and like feel these things, man. Even if they're terrible, even if they're negative. Because people on social media, they're trying to find a distraction, short form clips, OF people and all this stuff. It's all distractions, but in reality, what we should have is conversations like this, and probably this video will get 100 views. But if someone can watch this moment, comment it down below and talk about your story, because this is what actually matters about life. Not any of these YouTube videos, these gaming videos, these stupid videos. Think about the time is going by. Every day we're closer to the grave. You're gonna breathe literally your last breath. Every single day you're getting closer. And you don't realize that until you could see death in its eye. You can't understand that time is going by unless you can feel death, if that makes sense. I'll let you guys do some thinking, to pondering tonight. Comment if you want, like the video if you want, subscribe if you want, please do. But football videos will come on in the future, but this is the story behind everything. This is why my life the way it is, the why I'm so uncomfortable, why I travel. None of this would have happened. The fact that I speak some Portuguese and I'm a Corinthians fan, everything comes back to 2017. All right? Remember, smile because it happened. Don't cry because it's over. Just smile at it. And if you want to cry, it's okay too. All right? But one thing I've had to learn after being betrayed, having friends leave me after my father passed away, not even having friends, being made fun of, people talking smack my whole life, even when I'm an adult, that my father passed away. Just remember this. Just remember this. Strength is rewarded, weakness is punished. That is in every society, every culture, strength is rewarded. Remember that. Strength is rewarded, okay? All right? Remember that. If anything I just said, remember that. All right, y'all. Football videos in the future. We're going to some countries in Asia next. I'll see you guys. Peace and love. Goodbye.